Uh, I'm going live here at 9 o'clock a.m. and I'm just so excited to be here this morning. Now, my colleague Shaun was supposed to join, but he's gotten held up by some. Well, let's just say there's some business concerns that he's going with this morning. So hopefully nobody will be disappointed to just have me here today. Shaun does bring a lot of energy and personality to the show. So anyway, this morning I want to talk about, and I hope I'm bringing value to you, but I want to talk a little bit about interviewing. Now, first and foremost, it's hard enough to really get an interview, period, in today's market. I've got to tell you that I've been working really, really hard for a number of my different favorite my favorite clients out there. I've been working really, really hard to kind of get them, lined up with interviews, and it's been very, very difficult. I mean, it's been tough. I got to admit it. It's not been easy to get get people in front of companies right now, because the reality is that there's not a lot of there really isn't. There's not a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of opportunities out there, but there's not a lot of people ready to make a move, make a change. So I talked to a number of different, and welcome, Shaun. I'm right in the middle of introductions here, so just give me a second. So I got off the phone now, and Shaun, you can probably echo this too. But I've been on the phone a lot with hiring authorities, and I talked to one yesterday, and I've been working with him for years, and placed some people over there, and have been working hard at placing some people there this year. And he just, I don't know, he's so over a barrel that he's just, man, I need to get a good, solid estimator in here into my office, and we just have no interviews. He was just discouraged and frustrated because there's just no good estimators out there willing and ready to make a change with the right background and experience. What's your experience right now, Shaun?
John, I know you called me right after you got off the phone with that hiring authority, and you were kind of explaining his frustration. And I wasn't surprised by it, because he's feeling how most of our clients are feeling, right? He's urgent. He's losing money on, he's not able to bid as much. And that's just the way it is. And here's the thing. I don't care if you own a restaurant. I don't care if you own an air duct cleaning business, if you own a paper company. Everyone seems like they're in that position where it sucks. It's a crappy position to be in, where you're like, man, you're ready to hire, but there's literally nobody out there to hire. And so I get it, and I hear it every single day.
There's people out there, Shaun, but there's nobody. There's nobody people out there willing to make a change right now.
Yes, there are people out there, but let's just put it this way: they're not easy to find.
Well, and it's good for you and I. It's good for the recruiting business, because it's just like any other part of the economy. It's supply and demand. I mean, there is a very, very low supply of qualified candidates that are willing to make a change, and a very high demand for those candidates. So it's the best time right now to be a candidate. It's the best time right now to be a candidate that's looking for something, because you have a ton of leverage. There's no doubt. Anyway, your buddy Logan put out a post yesterday, and that's what I want to talk about today, because we've been talking a lot about what are some creative ways we can get creative ways to really bring not only to bring talent, but also for companies to be able to hire talent. We've talked about culture. We've talked about being creative as far as scheduling, being creative as far as doing a hybrid option, things like that. But as we just were talking about, it's just almost impossible to even get an interview scheduled right now with the right people. I mean, we've even got literally people calling us up saying, "Hey, just give us somebody with a pulse," right? Whose breath fogs up the mirror in the morning. So anyway, your buddy Logan, my buddy Logan, your buddy Logan, our colleague, put up this great post yesterday talking about interviewing, talking about spending time in the interview wisely. And he kind of let it off like this: are you spending your interview time asking candidates questions about themselves and their skills? If so, I'd ask you to reconsider. Shaun, you got that up in front of you right now?
Yep.
Perfect. So let's talk about these points. So what he's saying is he's encouraging companies to consider when they actually have a live person sitting in front of them, that they not only shorten the interview process, but also market themselves in such a way that they make themselves attractive to the candidate, so that the candidate has no other choice but to come work for them.
Right.
So let's start off with the top 10 things here, 10 things to talk about rather than the candidate's resume. Number one, what makes this company so great? Talk about that, Shaun, for a minute.
Yeah, and I think, and I want to add this is like candidates right now know that they have leverage. Candidates right now know that it's hard to find good people. So the point of what Logan put out there, and I really like it, is let's just skip the bull crap and let's get to why we're a good company, right? Let's get to why we're a good company. So the first one he has in here, what makes this company so great? That's pretty obvious. Right now, companies have to sell themselves to candidates. And that's not to say that candidates just sit there and just act all cocky and don't say anything. I'm not saying that, but companies in particular are the ones who are in a position right now who have to make themselves stand out to the candidates. So yeah, I think starting the interview off with just telling them why I work here. If I'm a hiring authority, I want to tell this person why I work here and what I love about it and what makes this company a great place to work.
Right. And really what sets them apart, and that what sets us apart, Shaun, as a recruiting team, is we spend time with the hiring authorities. We spend time with the company to get them to tell us, to market themselves to us, so that we can market the company to candidates, right? So one of the big things that we do that adds value to our relationship with companies is we build a marketing picture that goes beyond just the job description to talk about what makes the company so great. So one thing a company can do is really think about what makes your company an awesome place to go to work for. Now, the second thing that is up there is what types of projects does this company have that others simply don't do. That goes without saying that a lot of our, we are in the specialty contracting industry, and sometimes projects like, TIs and other things can get really, really repetitive, right, Shaun? Mm-hmm. I mean, we hear that a lot. And so it's really good that a company can come out and say, we specialize in X, Y, and Z. These are really, really cool projects. Maybe they're maybe they're big projects. Maybe they're really intricate projects, et cetera, that makes it interesting and motivates a candidate to come to work for that company because they're doing these projects that their company doesn't currently do.
Yeah, and I think the other side of that is that, you have to have respect for a company that does one thing really, really, really freaking well. So if you're a company and all you do are tenant fit outs, that's fine.
That's
great. The selling point for that is that we're the best in this market. We have tons of connections. We have well-established clientele. We know all of our competition. We know where we have to be at in order to make money. So yeah, maybe you're not that company who has the capability or even the willingness or the want to actually go out and do these mega projects and all that stuff. That's fine. That's cool. There's a lot of candidates out there who really love doing your smaller tenant fit outs. And if that's all you do from a company perspective, that's fine. I think the selling point there is that, hey, we're the best at what we do. We're really good at what we do. We've been doing it for a long time. We have well-established relationships. A lot of it's all negotiated work. You know what I mean? So I just
It's
want to
true,
have the other
John. I
side.
mean, like you know this better than anybody. You run a dryer vent cleaning company.
Right.
All you do is clean dryer vents.
Yep.
And you are the best dryer vent cleaning company in South Dakota. Although you only work in Sioux Falls right now, you're the best dryer vent company in South Dakota because that's all you do.
Right.
And,
We're the
and
only
since
company
that's all
that only
you
does
do,
that.
you can do so
Right.
efficiently. You can do so with, you can do so at a lower cost because you know how to do it quickly, do it efficiently, and do it right and do it well.
Yep.
And you've got a great reputation for that. And that's, I think, what you're saying about that.
Right.
Talk about this next one.
Yeah. So this next
building.
one here, you want to, so the number 3 is, what type of culture building events does this firm offer? I think this is something that companies have lost a lot over during COVID. They've lost that. Hey, it's 3 o'clock on Friday. Let's go down to the brewery and grab some beer, or let's go throw axes, or let's go golf. Those are kind of some of your unstructured events. But I think one thing right now that is going to be huge for companies is really building up that internal office culture and doing stuff on a regular basis, not like once a quarter. Like that's only 4 times a year. You're spending your time with these people 8 to 9, 10, 12 hours a day. You got to get out of the office and do things. And I just know that a lot of companies have lost this part in their culture because of remote work, because of budgets, because of money, whatever the excuse is. It's all Bolshevik. It's all excuses. There's always a way to do something cost effective and cheap with your company. You can go buy some hot dogs and burgers and have and do it in your parking lot and have a taco day or a hot dog day, whatever. Small things like that. And John, I'll let you add on to this, but small things like that make a huge difference.
Yeah, I work with a company out in New York that, I'm not being racist or anything, but they're an Italian-owned company.
Yep.
And the owner of the company brings in Italian food from her home to feed the entire crew every Friday. It's something that they do. They have this big Italian smorgasbord, and it's just a wonderful team building event. They just stop what they're doing, and for a couple hours they just hang out together. The best kind of companies to work for are those kind of companies where you can hang out. You can actually hang out with the people you want to hang out with, the people that you're working with, right? I mean, if you're going to spend 8 hours a day, 8 hours every single day, 8, 9, 10 hours every single day with the same people, you want to like them and you want to work with them. Thanksgiving events, Christmas events. You mentioned we work with one company out in Colorado that if the team makes their goal, they shut down for a day and they take the whole team out skiing or out top golf or they just all do something together. It's
all right. You got the next one, Johnny.
You lose a day of business, but it's a beautiful culture building event.
Yep.
So the next one that's really, really important is continuing education benefits. Again, when people want to, one of the reasons that people leave a company is because they don't have any career progression. And that's not just promotion, that's also education.
Right.
And from the company side, they think, well, if we educate this person, then we're going to add value to this person. Then this person's going to use that value to go leave. Well, that's backwards thinking. Instead of that, make yourself such a great company. And one of the things you do as a great company is offer continuing education so the person can improve themselves so that you can promote that person from within and you don't have this problem anyway. You already have a known commodity that you like. That you enjoy. The dollars that you spend on giving this person continuing education are going to be well-earned dollars. They're well-spent dollars. It's an important culture building, important thing that you can do for your company to improve your company.
Yep. Yeah. 100%, man. And that could be, from a construction standpoint, that could, being certified in different estimating softwares. It could be safety certifications. It could be whatever, leadership certifications, right?
Yeah.
Different. There's many different ways to grow your employees, and yeah, I think it's a great thing. So let's go down.
Project management certifications.
Yep.
There's educational achievements. Maybe somebody wants maybe you want to take someone from the field, a superintendent that shows great leadership skills, and you want to get them into the office. Well, put them through a construction management degree.
Right.
I mean, these are all things. We need to think about these things, because when a person's looking to make a change at this time, they're looking for a long-term fit. Okay, a long-term
Yep.
fit. Now, we don't want to run on a long time here, so we're all the way up to number 5. This is a biggie. What awards has the company won in the past? These are the type of things that you put on your website. Why wouldn't you announce it to your candidate? Right, Shaun?
Yeah, in our industry, there's awards for safety, there's awards for projects, there's awards for, just quality of work, and so yeah, I mean,
There's the best places to work awards. There's
culture
awards.
awards.
There's awards for everything, and not everybody can
growth.
win these
I mean,
awards.
there literally is a handout. I mean, if you're a company and you're not getting some type of award, you're just really not trying, because it's literally like you can get an award, like you can, like there's magazine subscriptions, and I'm not going to say any specific names of magazines, but if you just subscribe and you pay it, you're one of the top contractors. You know what I mean? Even though there's 1,000 other companies larger and better than you, but it's really easy to get awards. And
but that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking
that's
about
not what we're
awards,
talking
like
about. But
participation medals. We're talking about, we think about in drywall, in the drywall industry. We got the ceiling, the ceilings.
Yeah, but let's not name any specific things, because all of that stuff is sponsors, dude. So it's not like this big panel of people that are just have no, it's all, so it's all contingent upon stuff.
Right. It is. And that's the thing. We're talking about real awards that are
project awards, dude. General contractors hand out project awards for excellence for subcontractors they've worked with. Like that's real stuff right there.
Yeah.
That's real stuff right there.
And that's, you point to that and you say, we've won these awards in the past and we want to win them in the future. We bring people on like you, Mr. Candidate or Mrs. Candidate or Ms. Candidate, whatever. We bring people on like you to help us be the top company in the area in this realm, whatever that realm is.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah, I mean, if you've won awards, and they're kind of big, they're a big deal. Let them, let people know about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So,
yep, go ahead.
Number 6 is another really important one, Shaun. Talk about that, especially when you're a candidate.
Yeah, I think number 6. When I look at these 10 things here, to me, number 6 is the most important, because number 6 is the foundation. And number 6 is, what is the tenure of most of the employees at the company? So like that, to me, when I'm qualifying a company to see if I'm going to work for them or not, like if I'm qualifying a potential client who wants to use my services, determining whether I'm going to work with them or not is a lot of like, how do they treat their people? How long have their people been around? I mean, if they have a high turnover rate and their average tenure is like 1 or 2 or 3 years, I know that there's something going wrong there, right? So if you have a good tenure, if you're a hiring authority and you say, man, most of my people say you're 6, 7, 8, 10, 15, 20 years. To me, even 6 years is a long time, just with our culture now and the way that candidates, they always are moving. It's just a fact, especially in the subcontracting world. But if you're a company and you think you have relatively good tenure there, that's something that's a huge selling point, because there's a lot of companies, especially in the subcontracting world, that have they have very high turnover. There's always a lot of movement. And it's just kind of the way the industry is. But there are companies that are set apart, and a lot of those companies are the clients that we happen to work with.
I mean, I work with a client on the East Coast. Again, we don't mention any names here, but
Yep.
they had two folks that were featured. One person worked there for over 50 years. Now that person unfortunately just passed away. Another person currently is working there. Has worked there for 45 years. When we hear a drywall company or a paint company or any other specialty contracting company that has candidates that are there for decades as opposed to single years, that's an impressive thing, and that shows that they have a culture that not only these employees want to stay there, but they have a culture that's attractive. That they clearly care about their people. I mean, shoot, you're not going to stay at a place for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years if they don't treat you right.
Right. Even 2 years.
No,
right.
Not even
Let's just be honest. Like, if you go work for a company and they're not treating you right, why nobody really stays around for 2 years? I mean, it happens, but yeah, I mean, I think knowing the tenure and also having understanding how long the company's been around for too, right? So a lot of the companies that we work with are, there's some that are 10 or 15 years old. And to me, if they have people that have been there for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, that's really good. That's really, really good. And that's something, in my opinion, to brag about.
Absolutely.
It's extremely important. I mean, not every company that we work with has low turnover. Some of them do, some of them don't. But I know, like, there's just specific companies when I'm recruiting for them and my sales pitch includes, hey, dude, they have extremely low turnover. Like, their average employee tenure there is like 20 years. Okay. That's a huge selling point for potential candidates. They like to hear that. And it's something that they take very serious.
That's awesome. Now, the next one is connected to that one that we just talked about, and why the employees stay with the company. Now, we encourage our candidates to ask that question,
right,
of their interviewers. Hey, why are you here? What made you choose to come here? What keeps you here? But a good sales point, again, from the company's perspective, would be to bring that up and to say, look, I'm the interviewer. I came to this company 7 years ago. I was working with XYZ Construction. Now I'm working over here. The reason I came over here is because of this, and this, and this is what I found here at this company. They always do this, and this. This is why I stay here. There's reasons why employees stay with the company. They can be as small as, well, shoot, I can ride my bike to work. It's 5 minutes away. We got other companies that are dog friendly, Shaun. Yep. And I know GPAC is also dog friendly, and you don't really like that all that much because you like dogs, but they make you sneeze, right?
Yeah, every dog I've had in my office at GPAC, they weren't my dog, but let's just say it was not uncommon for them to leave a little gift outside my door, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that happened on multiple occasions.
That's happened as well. That's happened as well. So, but the other question is associated. Number 8 is, why are the interviews at the company and what brings them to work each day? Those 3 questions kind of all go together in that we are marketing this company. I mean, people stay here and people are motivated to come to work here every day because X, Y, and Z, or personal stories, are really, really important when you're interviewing. I come to this company every day. So like if I was talking about GPAC, what gets me out of bed every day is talking to people and helping people find their best job now. Yep. I mean, that gets me excited when I can take a person that's a project engineer, for example, and they've been doing estimating for 3 years, but they're still called a project engineer at their company. I can bring them to a different company and they can start there and they can start their estimating career with that company, and they get a 10, 15, 20% bump in salary, and they're able to get bonuses, and they're learning and perfecting a new skill. That excites me, man. I mean, that gets me up out of bed in the morning. It excites me to help companies build new divisions. We're working with several companies right now that are building new divisions within their scope of work right now. We're working with several companies. We're recruiting for several companies that are building new divisions. That excites me, man. It's sort of like a construction guy that drives by a building and points at it with pride and says, "I built that."
Right.
Right. So, go ahead, talk about that for a minute.
No, you hit everything. You hit everything on the head, man. There's really nothing else to say.
Well,
number
perfect.
9.
Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah,
then.
number 9. Why does a company feel the candidate would be a good fit based on their culture and work? So this is an interesting point to bring up to the interview. So once again, and this is under the assumption that you as a hiring authority feel that the person that you're interviewing is a good fit for your company. So that's the assumption. And the question, and this is something that I think is important, that if I'm a hiring authority and I'm interviewing people right now, or if I'm interviewing a person, at some point in time during that interview, if I'm confident that they would be a good fit for this position, I want to let them know that. And that's almost kind of reverse of what we tell some of our candidates. And it's good for the candidates too. Like if you're a potential candidate listening in right now, you should also let the company know why you feel like you're a good fit for the position. And if you're interested in it, let them know that you're interested in taking the next steps. But it's also equally important for the company to communicate that as well. And it might just sound something like this. Hey, John, I just want to let you know I've really enjoyed interviewing you today. Based upon your personality, your skill set, and just the way that you handle yourself, I'm confident that you'd be a good fit for our company and what we're trying to accomplish in the future. And I just want to let you know that. I don't want to play any games here. I don't want you walking out of this interview thinking, oh man, was that a good interview or not so good? Because you and I know that happens a lot. So it could just be something as simple as that. Hey, I really enjoyed the interview today. I feel like your skill set, your personality, everything that you bring to the table, I feel like would be a tremendous fit for our organization. And I hope that you're equally interested in continuing this conversation.
Yeah. And even kind of, I think it's important, Shaun, that we emphasize that if you're a hiring authority and you've got that candidate in front of you, make a decision quickly.
Yeah.
Make a decision as quickly as possible. Now, I'm not saying hire any Tom, Dick, and Harry off of the street. And I'm certainly not saying to the candidates that since you are, such a valuable commodity right now that you can slough off on your
right. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying that at all.
What we are saying is communication is key. We tell our candidates, if you want the job, ask for it. Leave no doubt in the company's mind that you want the job. But equally, like Shaun was saying, we're saying to you hiring authorities today, if you like this candidate, don't play coy with them. Don't go into negotiation thought process and pretend like you don't want them, because I guarantee you there's 5 other companies out there that do want them. So if you want them, listen to what Shaun had to say. Let them know that you want them. Let them know that you believe that there's going to be a good fit, and let them know beyond a shadow of a doubt, if you're going to offer them, let them know you're going to offer them, and let them know when you're going to offer them, and keep to that schedule. Because I don't want to see you like we see so many. Shaun, yeah. I mean, how many have we even seen this month so far, where it's got down to offer process, and somebody swooped in and grabbed that guy because it took so long to get an offer out.
It happens all the time.
So finally, the last but not least, and this is number 10 on our list, the top 10 things that we ought to do instead of sticking to the resume. is future plans for the firm, the website, the work, and the culture. So changes that are coming down the pike. I mean, Shaun, do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think most candidates that I've placed in my close to 7 years are all growth. They have that growth mindset, and so for a company to let them know, hey, what is your 5 year, what like I think like most companies probably have a 5 year plan or an idea of what they want to accomplish in 5 years. So um, if you're a company that is growing, you're looking into the future, um, you want to be able to articulate to potential job seekers what that looks like, because it is exciting for someone to come and join a company that is maybe going to open up in a different market, like geographically, or maybe they're going to expand their services. Those are very, very important to talk to. Those are very important to talk about, and it's just gonna increase your chances of bringing in top talent, because like the really good candidates, they don't really, in my opinion, they don't want to work with companies that are dying. They want to work with companies that are growing. And we have a saying around GPAC: if you're not growing, you're dying. And I think that is applicable to personally, professionally, spiritually, all aspects of life. If you're not growing in something, you're actually just dying. So it's very important to talk about. Also, the website is also mentioned on this. I just had a conversation with one of my clients. They're a really good, successful commercial drywall metal framing company. They do a lot. They do a very large amount of volume, but like their website, what do you call that, John? It's down. They're whatever it's called.
Yeah.
They're
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So like
down.
their website's actually inactive right now, and they actually have a really cool website, but they just hasn't even been a focus of theirs. And I told them, you probably heard me, it was a week or two. I said, hey, just so you guys know, your website's down, and job seekers look at that stuff. And if you don't have an active website, or you don't have an up-to-date website, and your website looks like it's 10 years old or from the 90s or the 2000s, like spend the extra money, get that dialed in, because your website really clearly should communicate everything, like in a nutshell, like what your company is about, who's in charge of projects. It's just this is basic stuff. I mean, this is super basic stuff, but sometimes companies need to hear it. Have your website dialed in. And then I'll mention the other thing too, John. And then, yeah, I guess, John, you can go on from that. I mean,
here's the thing. Everything that we've been talking about today is basic marketing. Okay. You market your company to, all the time, every day when you're out and you're trying to get jobs, if we're in the construction industry, we're talking about the construction industry, and you're trying to get jobs, you share with the people why the company is great. I share all the time. I market GPAC to hiring authorities, and I say to them, what makes us great is that we're a 31-year-old company founded in a recession. We've gotten through 3 different recessions. We got through COVID-19. We've grown every single year. And why is that? Because we bring value to our clients, and we do so in a way that's filled with integrity. And so I'm able to say that, rattle that off right away, because I understand where our company's ethos and values are. And so, So this is all basic marketing 101. If you want a good candidate, and this might be a shock to some people, because for the longest time, Shaun, the companies had all the leverage. The companies had all the leverage. And I got to tell you, you don't have that leverage anymore. So you've got to wear a different hat, and you've got to market yourself.
You got to step outside of your comfort level. You got to step outside of the box, right? You got
to market yourself. You have to market yourself. You have to market your company. You have to be able, as a leader, to cast a vision. And so this is just a small snippet of the stuff that we have, Shaun, available to the people that we work with directly with GPAC. This is just a small snippet, but this is stuff I do on the outside of GPAC with companies all the time, because they just don't know. They don't know what they don't know. Okay. And I got to tell you that I've put together with my company, I've put together webinars, becoming a master of hiring. This is part of that webinar. I put out another webinar, building a culture, building a culture of excellence that creates, again, this is part of this is part of that webinar. These 10 things are part of that webinar. It goes without saying.
John, how do people access those webinars?
Well, again, you can go to my YouTube. You can go to my YouTube page. You can subscribe to my YouTube page. We've got those webinars on my YouTube page. These are things that we update frequently. These are things that, with new research and new things that come to the forefront, we are able to share with people and keep them up to date. But let me tell you something, those things are worth your while to go take a look at. But more than just looking at a webinar, you need someone like myself or Shaun. Again, these services, when you are a signed company with GPAC, are part of our services. When you are a signed company with GPAC, these are part of our services. You get these for free, okay? Right. But I work with other companies outside. of GPAC, and the reality is that these are valuable services. How do you get a high performance culture going, man? I mean, building a high performance culture where, when that question is asked of you, why you should come to work here, the folks are just, it's bleeding out of their mouth. It's bleeding out of their insides. It's from their inside out. This is a magnificent, awesome culture. We've got great projects. We've got a great future. We're excited to come to work every morning because we're doing great things. And it's coming straight out of them. And how does that happen? It doesn't happen by preparing somebody, by saying, hey, you've got to come in and talk to these people and get them to come to work here. You get it from building a high performance culture. And this is part of that high performance culture. So my encouragement to you right now, is, this is so important. Focusing on the interview, changing the perspective. You know what the resume says. If we bring you a candidate, Shaun, we've already done the reference checks. We already know that this is the genuine article that we're bringing to you. We are sure that if you like this candidate culturally, that you should hire them when we bring this candidate to you. So don't waste your time on the interview doing what we've already done. We've already gone through the resume. We've already built a marketing profile on this candidate where we know everything there is to know about the candidate. We've already done the background checks. We've already confirmed with them what they bring to the table. So don't waste your time in the interview doing that all over again. There's a few quick questions you can ask if you need to, but don't waste your time in your interview doing it again. Instead, what you need to do is market your company, sell your company, let them know why they should come to work for your company, and throw that out there. I know it's a shift. I got to go, but that's what you got to do.
I got to go.
All right, Shaun, thanks for joining us today.
There's Greg. This is the boss.
All right, let's do it. Hey, Greg, what's going on, man?
We're live, by the way. So
good morning, Mr. Chisholm. So great to see you.
All right,
Greg. Hey, Greg, why have you been here for 9 years? Just real quick.
Well, it's actually 13, but nobody's keeping track.
Well, nobody's counting.
Correct. I mean, I'm a lot older than people give me credit for. Why have I been at GPAC? Is that the question, or why have I just met by Shaun? Well,
GPAC
mainly because I'm not naive. I mean, with where I'm at in my career and what I've done, I'm not going to find something better as far as culture goes wise, and also, I mean, the financial reward. I mean, I know that with the skill set that I have and what I've been able to accomplish, I'm in the best possible spot I can be.
It's hard to find anywhere else where we make $300,000 a year, man.
Yeah, well, there's just an example. We didn't tell Greg he was going to be.
All right, dude. Hey, we got to go, John. We got to go.
All right, I'm here by myself. I'm just finishing up. So at the end of the day, here's the really, really important thing. And if you're watching this live, this is good. If you're not watching it live, I'm gonna repost this one because this has been a beneficial one, I believe. Listen, it's very, very important. Subscribe to my YouTube page. This is where you're gonna get value. You're gonna get value every single day. You don't have to watch the whole thing. This is just the ramblings of a person that's been in the industry of recruiting. Things have changed for companies. You have to sell your company. You have to swallow your pride. I know you believe that your company is just like your kid. The greatest thing in the world is my children. Greatest people in the world are my children. They can do no wrong, even though I know that they can do wrong. All right. And the greatest thing, it's like your baby. It's like your spouse. Your business is like that. And you need to be able to articulate why it is so wonderful. And you specifically in this right now, in the culture that we're in right now, in the time that we're in, the economic reality that we're in, if you want to win the battle for talent, you must market your company. You must be able to articulate why someone should come to work for your company. Don't waste time in the interview going down through the resume again. That's what we just said. I've already done that for you if I'm recruiting. You don't need to do that. If they're good enough to get in front of you for an interview, you've already been convinced by the resume. Now, your time in the interview should be spent selling your company and bringing in people that are a great cultural fit for your company to grow your company. You have to blow them away. You really do. Because if they're good, you're not the only interview that they've agreed to. So anyway, we're going to finish this stream. I think I'm going to cut some of this out and just kind of use it. I'm going to use it for part of my other webinars. Again, follow my YouTube page. If you're on LinkedIn right now, you can find my YouTube page. If you don't know where it is, give me a call, email me, do whatever you need to do. This stuff is important to build your business today. So for Shaun Bowen, myself, John Chisholm, for the specialty contracting team here at GPAC, we bid you adieu. Have a great day. And if you have any questions or you want any more information, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to talk. Have a great day. Bye-bye.